successes which lead to the next failure. How do you manage that? And how do we actually prioritise things in our own lives? Because if we've got those goals clear, those aspirations, we will actually then decide how we're going to allocate our time. And quite often I think when this happens, what we then find is, well, I can miss that deadline because actually that isn't important. Something I'm doing now is even more important. If you explain that, is what happens. So I'm going to shut up at this point. I'm going to hope to learn some more from all of you. It sounds as if you've had a fabulous occasion, but what this is really about is helping people in such a meaningful way to achieve success. You and I talk quite a lot, so we've no doubt pursue this in one of our regular monthly 75-minute chats, I think. So I'll hand the microphone back to you.
Well, actually, I was going to ask you, with your experience as being a doctor, what advice, one tip or advice you would give to small business owners or entrepreneurs starting out their business when it comes to their health?
Many years ago, I was on a leadership course, interestingly, at the Civil Service College. And a very wise man actually said, it's all a game. Enjoy the game, treat it as a game, and you know what? Those failures and those successes won't get to you because they only get to you because you build it in. So that would be my advice, is actually go for that success, but recognise you're not going to win every one of them, but treat it as a game. Don't let it so completely dominate you that it destroys you. And that, I think, applies whether you're in business, whether you're an actor, whether you are a musician. This particular person was a leading conductor when he said it, but it applies to all walks of life. We create those internal goals, and then we beat ourselves up if we don't achieve them. If you actually realise what's driving you, then you can modify it, and suddenly everything takes on a different view. The other thing I would say is just use those opportunities. You know, you have to walk between two buildings, just look up. How many people walk down High Street in Bromley and see those wonderful gables and buildings there? How many have never looked at them? How many people go through our parks without realising some of the sort of wonderful landscapes in the park just down the road here? So many people go through it. So I would just use those Many years ago, I was on a leadership course, interestingly, at the Civil Service College. And a very wise man actually said, it's all a game. Enjoy the game, treat it as a game, and you know what? Those failures and those successes won't get to you because they only get to you because you build it in. So that would be my advice, is actually go for that success, but recognise you're not going to win every one of them, but treat it as a game. Don't let it so completely dominate you that it destroys you. And that, I think, applies whether you're in business, whether you're an actor, whether you are a musician. This particular person was a leading conductor when he said it, but it applies to all walks of life. We create those internal goals, and then we beat ourselves up if we don't achieve them. If you actually realise what's driving you, then you can modify it, and suddenly everything takes on a different view.
It tends to just look like somebody just punching the air for fun, but there is a breakdown to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through the 5 keys to shadowboxing. I'm then going to share how that relates to business, and then we're all going to stand up and give it a bit of a go. So just in case you've got something down, but just that way, a good way to get the blood flowing. So initially, with shadowboxing, it begins with footwork. So when you start with boxing, although you see people in the ring and they're throwing hands, it starts with the foundational footwork. And similar in business, it's all about sales. If you haven't got any sales in your company, you're going to struggle. So the same way in boxing, we start with footwork. In business, we want to have sales. Next, when we're shadowboxing, before I've even started throwing punches, I'm using my head movement because it's the art of hitting and not being hit. Similar in business, if you're trying to start up, you're going to need finance. finance to help you essentially pay your bills, to be able to keep your business running. But now, once we get there, what people tend to see, mainly see, are the punches. That's the third key to shadowboxing. And in business, that would be operations, i.e. the actual service that you're delivering. But before you've even done that, you've still haven't got the foot moving, heads moving. The fourth is our guard. So we're blocking shots. We're throwing punches, but we're blocking them as well. Similar to in business, you'll probably have your legal team and the parts to be able to support you along the way. And then fifth and final, IT. So, and that would be in boxing, visualizing an opponent. As much as I'm throwing these punches, I'm visualizing punches coming back at me. When you're in business, you're having to visualize and imagine certain setbacks. If you're going into that deal, imagining closing that deal, what it looks like. And so, what I'm demonstrating is the same principles that we take from boxing can also be reverted over to business as well. So what we're going to do, if we just all stand up briefly, and I will take you through the fundamentals. We don't have to be moving around the corners, but we're just going to go over some fundamentals, and then again, if you want to explore it further, you can come and see me to the side, scan a copy of my book.
Can we do the dummy version?
So the first thing when it comes to boxing is it begins with your stance. So if raise the hand you right way. So if you're left-handed, raise your left hand. If you're right-handed, raise your right hand. Perfect. So whichever hand is raised, that side, the leg, will go back. So if it's your right hand up, your right foot steps back, and your right hand goes back. As you do that, you now bring this hand in, so the elbow is nice and tucked to your body, and then your fist is by your chin. Now the other hand raises up. And so this is more similar to like old school. This is more of like your shield, and then so this is what you're using to kind of protect yourself, defend, and then your cross, your dominant hand is the one to lay the dominant punch. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go through one of my favorite combinations, which is very basic. Please ensure there's enough space in front of you. That's it, in the back of the head. So, that is the first thing we have to do. So, now, as we've now got our both hands up, one hand's to the chin, the other hand's just in front, a slight bend in the knees, what we're going to do is we're going to do something called the double jab cross. So the first is the jab. So that's that lead hand in front. Yep, lovely, you see that? So what we do is you turn it, it twists and comes out. So as the fist reaches its final end, so the hand that's in front, the leg that's in front, the hand that's in front, it comes out. And then, so just a minute, just the other hand, the other leading hand, there we go. That's the one, lovely. There we go, perfect. So we go again, rotate round, through again. And so this, again, with the jab, the reason why we rotate, I give this analogy between a hammer and a screw. When you use a hammer, you need a lot of force. So if the punch was coming out straight, you need a lot of force for it to be able to penetrate its opponent. Versus a screw, with the twist in motion, it takes a lot less force, but you're still able to cause damage. So here with the jab, you just twist through. So what we're going to do, we're just going to start with 10 jabs. So we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, good, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lovely. I see the gentleman there, he's done a bit of boxing in the past. I see. Next, what we've got is the cross. Now this is one that you want to use less often, reason being it puts you in a more vulnerable position. And now what we do with this, again, it starts with the footwork. So before the punches actually comes out, imagine there's chewing gum under your shoe. Again, not in Bromley, because we're a team. But imagine you've got some chewing gum under that shoe. So what you want to do is you want to rotate that back foot. As you rotate the back foot, the hand, the fist comes out, and it goes out straight. So we go cross, cross, there we go. Cross, other hand, there we go, that's it. And you're rotating that back foot, and you're getting that full leverage in through the body. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put that together. We're going to put 2 jabs, so 2 of the lead hand together, and then we're going to follow it with a cross. So we're just going to do that 10 times, and then we're going to call it there before everyone picks up a sweat. There we go. So again, so if you just follow me, we're going to just go double jab, cross. So that's 1. And again, double jab, cross. Good, and again. Double jab, cross. 3, and again. Double jab, cross. 4, and again. 1, 2, cross. Lovely. See, it's coming together. 5 more. Double jab, cross. 4 more. Double jab, cross. 3 to go. Double jab, cross. Well, you can move that head to the side now. There we go. 2 more. Double jab, cross. Lovely. And last one. Double jab, cross. So now you've won your bout. Raise your hand like champions.